Telling a woman who says she doesn't want kids, you'll change your mind, is not a good response. It assigns motherhood to a person who explicitly is rejecting it. It reinforces gender roles. It makes motherhood out to be something you do because you have to, not because you actually want to. It is invalidating her desire, which she is capable of knowing and communicating, and it is telling a grown woman what she should do. So, child-free or childless, does the term really matter? Whether to have children is one of the most consequential decisions we get to make. Like all choices, this one is taken inside a social context. That context is quite heavily titled in a protagonist direction. Our culture views parenting as an essential part of achieving fulfillment, happiness, and meaning in life as a marker of successful adulthood. Remaining childless by choice, aka child-free, is an outlined path. A move raises question and is met with prejudice and even moral outrage. This is particularly true for women whose gender identity and social values have no longer been tied to fertility or motherhood. Thus, women who decide not to have children are viewed unfavorable. Childless itself. This is not a new phenomenon, although in the past it's been due to poverty, illness, and just the choice of not wanting to have children or the lack of being able to produce children. Motives for remaining child-free vary, but in most cases they involve an interaction between macro-social forces, such as contraceptives, declining marriage rates, and financial reasons. Child-free women are a diverse group, yet they may share certain personality and social characteristics. For example, a recent British study, researchers found that compared to parents or those desired children, child-free responses score significantly higher in independence and significantly lower in exhilaration. They are also less religious and more politically liberal. Women who decide against having children do not. Are child-free women happier? The answer is yes. Although research shows that people who choose to opt to have children tend to be less happier, and the link is not likelihood due to directly or inherently to the nature of children of the task of parenthood, but more so to outside factors. The United States, despite its family values, is especially not child or parent friendly. Women have also chosen to be without kids, are so often portrayed as emotionless or worse, still secretly unfulfilled when truth are they're just normal people. That's not to say having children is without the rewards either. Women must have babies, but not too many babies. The woman's choice is honestly always will be reviewed and seen as the wrong choice, whether to be childless or to have a child. The child-free label, like all labels, has an online community because some of those chosen to be child-free are marginalized by families and other people in their society and seen as unfit to be women. The things about my life I value most are things I would not have to sacrifice to have a child. It is okay to grill a woman on the state of her uterus or mental health, digging to find what's wrong with her. Because if you don't want a child, obviously there must be something wrong with you. Yet, however, procreation is a choice, not an obligation based off your gender and just because you have a uterus. Being childless is nothing new. And being childless is not just a Western phenomenon. It has been in our society for a very long time. In the 1900s, women who did not have children had only half as many women a century before. In the United States, women around the 1800s had 7 children. By 1900, they had 3 or 4. During the Reformation, religious, legal, familiar, and cultural pressures designed to ensure that women would reproduce and do so within acceptable parameters. But the fact that these pressures were deemed necessary testifies the fear of women must somehow opt out. The stereotype of childless women as having too much fun on their own good has been around for centuries. Between 1500 and 1800, women more often expressed skepticism about marriage than children. The 15 comforts of living a single life and good advice to have ladies to keep single made the rounds in 1739. The concept of choice by the 1960s became firmly attached to ideas about democracy and liberty. Challenges to the reverence for motherhood. Political leaders in the U.S., even conservative ones, do not always encourage women to have lots of children. For example, in 1972, President Nixon appointed a Committee on Population Growth and American Future, which denounced the outmoded tradition of American paternalism and encouraged all Americans to embrace fertility control. In 2017, Orna Donath tossed more fuel on the flames of controversy when she published Regretted Motherhood, based on interviews with women who would regret having their children. Childless older adults are now more likely to live on their own or in institutions as compared to parents who are more likely to live with spouses or children. But even for people who don't have children, there is no golden age of care for the elderly. That is not in late marriage societies. Children in marriage or migrate their cope with their own economic stress, marital strife, addictions, and problems that may have been going on. So next time you have somebody who says they are child-free or want to be childless, maybe you should start and think about maybe this is their decision and that it is not a moral obligation for them to reproduce.